Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you enjoyed this watch, you can see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing the Lange Sohne Lange 1 moon phase. This is the 2017 execution, the latest, featuring the caliber L121-3 and the hybrid AM/PM moon phase display. More on that in a moment. In terms of how the watch fits, I'm going to back off a little so you can see it in proportion on the wrist. It's a 38.5 millimeter case. It's the original Lange 1 case size. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. The watch is reasonably thin, considering a 3-day power reserve and a couple of complications. It sits relatively low at 10.4 millimeters thick with a nicely sloped domed profile bezel. Lug-to-lug, handsome as well as handsomely constrained, only 47.1 millimeters across the wrist. This watch will wear well on a small wrist, perhaps even as small as 13 centimeters in circumference, making it both an imposing presence for its size and a viable unisex option. The spacing between the lugs is 20 millimeters should you wish to accessorize, but I do recommend you give the factory strap consideration. It is nicely made, semi-gloss, large rectangular scale alligator leather. You can see it features a little bit of a center raised profile, monotone stitch, folded edges, calfskin on the underside, and Lange's clever pin buckle. So if you are like me and you're going to be strapping this down to the smallest hole, or possibly even making a hole closer to center for a small wrist, this retaining bar inside the clasp, or inside the pin buckle I should say, prevents the strap from getting pinned on the pin. You'll also note how there's a bit of a recess between the two prongs of the buckle that allows the strap to sit flush between them rather than stacking up on the wrist. So clever ergonomically, also clever aesthetically. More going on than meets the eye with that pin buckle. Usually a default design, not at Lange. Everything thoughtfully considered. And that continues in the case's finishing. Although it is a simple case with some of the features of a pocket watch, it does have wonderfully separate, sculpturally independent lugs that sit apart from the case and have a beauty and a presence all their own. You will note they feature both bevels on their transitional surface between the hoods and the flanks, as well as a sharp cleft between their polished flanks and the satin finish case band of the watch. From this angle you can really see just how far out they are stepped from the case band. The case band with a contrasting finish, polish of the bezel, polish of the case back, and a satin finish longitudinally all the way around. The bezel itself features a domed profile and it gives way to a gorgeous dial. Perhaps I should polish this one a little bit with my handy dandy JLC glove so you can better see it. It is a matte black with a set of sunken registers for a grand date, so you have the Lange oversized date with the pusher adjuster allowing you to cycle that feature. White gold aperture for the date, white gold indices and numerals as well as hands elsewhere on the dial. There is a sunken track for the hours and minutes, and then you'll note alpha style, not Dauphine, but alpha style hands for the hours and minutes. And there will be a loom shot because the watch features loomed hours and minutes, but also, delightfully, a loomed power reserve scale for its 3-day power reserve. What makes this generation, the 2017 to present moon phase, different is that it features both AM/PM and moon phase underneath that coaxial constant seconds. So you pull the crown out, yes, it features hacking seconds, it has that functionality, so you can synchronize to a reference time. Now watch the moon. The moon will scarcely move, even as the day and night disk beneath the moon cycles between the stars and the dark of the night sky back to the twilight and the light of day. That is the AM/PM or day-night disk beneath the moon phase disk. So two independent displays. Because a moon phase is romantic but not very dynamic, Lange added that day-night indicator so there would always be something changing in relatively short order when you look at your watch. Now, Doppelfederhaus, indeed, Doppelfederhaus. You can see the Doppelfederhaus behind the 3/4 bridge. Twin mainspring barrels, that's your Doppel, and the Federhaus being the barrels themselves. 72-hour power reserve, manually wound, 21,600 vibration per hour beat rate, adjusted in a chronometer-like 5 positions. This one does feature the hacking seconds function that I demonstrated before, and you'll note Lange's latest generation variable inertia free-sprung balance with those balance blocks that allow the régulier at Lange to change the polar moment and thus speed up or slow down the watch. There's more going on, naturally. In addition to being adjusted in 5 positions, it is fearsomely complex with 47 jewels and 438 individual parts. You will note the 3/4 plate, an homage to the era of pocket watch construction in Saxony. Likewise, the jewels of the train and the barrels set in screw-fixed chaton. We'll get as close as we can here to show that to good effect. So, chaton fixed by screws, not necessary, but a romantic nod to the past. You'll note glasuta stripes. We are not in Switzerland. They are not Côte de Genève. And you'll note that they're light on one side and dark on the other because they're laid down with an abrasive wheel that creates that uneven crested pattern rather than the stamped type of glasuta stripes or Côte de Genève that feature a uniform tone and reflectivity. You'll also note, let me see if I can get a better focus on the balance cock or the half bridge. It features freehand engraving. So every single Lange features a certain amount of hand engraving such that no two are exactly alike. The freehand engraving executed by artisans who are individualist in their own right and identifiable by the patterns and the flourishes they typically use. If you ever take the watch back to the manufacturer, they can actually give you the name of the person who made that component in your watch. You will note there's black polish on the cover for the escape wheel, as well as the swan's neck fine adjustment, which is used for regulating the balance's beat error rather than actual timing. And there is a tight and even perlage across the base plate. Turn the watch flush to the camera, and you can see a little bit of that mirrored anglage on the edge of the 3/4 plate, as well as the balance cock and the half bridge for the escape wheel. So the finish of this one as rich as the engineering and the material, and of course all of it in a lush golden German silver, which is a nickel copper zinc alloy, unplated and highly corrosion resistant. It starts out more golden than silver, and it becomes more so with time. Quite distinct in tone and composition from a rhodium plated Swiss brass movement. Absolutely gorgeous. This is one you have to appreciate in the metal, and the metal is glorious. By the way, you guys know I'm wearing Zinn these days. This watch featuring a case, you see SUG. That's right, that is Zinn's case manufacture in Glasuta. They make the precious metal cases for Lange. A little bit of a sports watch pedigree then in this one. You can see this, the latest generation Lange 1 moon phase on the watch box. And we're back with the Lange 1 moon phase. As you can see, even when the moon is high, this watch remains legible. See it by the light of day on the watch box.